A poem is a painting that is not seen, and a painting is a poem that is not heard. Beautiful line brought to my attention by Keisha Jacobs over there. It's my absolute privilege to welcome you today to the official launch of Flight of the Bird Spirit by Richard Cullinan, whose book has been years in the making. I could not be more proud of this incredible published author, teacher and poet, Rich, who also happens to be my husband. The words will speak of his incredible talent. I'm just going to share an overview of the morning with you before I hand over to Alan. But Salsal Publishing and Artillery Gallery have had a collaborative relationship over a number of years, where Artillery Gallery has had the privilege of hosting the launch of several poetry books by poets Sarah Lubala and Kabelo Mofokeng, who I think may be here today. Following Alan's introduction, we proceed with Richard's book, a poetry recital, and then a Q&A. We then welcome Kabelo Mofokeng, Mandy Poeficians Wundler, and Kwaz Root, who will perform two of their own poems, as well as initiate spontaneous poetry inspired by the art. Following this, we encourage you to stay for open mic. I'd like to now hand you over to the well-known poet, Alan Kolsky-Horwitz, who is one of the founding members of Botsotso Jesters, a poetry collective, as well as part of the founding editorial collective behind Botsotso magazine. Alan.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Richard. Welcome to you all. Botsotso is a collective of artists and theatre practitioners, and also the visual. The marriage of the poem and the visual image is very intimate. There is no poet who isn't inspired by a visual image. After all, we create metaphors out of language which should summon up in your imagination a visual equivalent or correlative, as T.S. Eliot, the great bard of English poetry, would say. Now today we're here because we're celebrating the launch of a collection of poems by Richard. And as you said, Karen, we've had a good relationship for a number of years, and Richard then approached Botsotso to say, would we assist in bringing out his collection, which is a collection that has been years in the making but remains very relevant. It is a spiritual, psychic search for completion in a world which is very challenging. A moment ago, Vaz and I just were speaking about what is the spirit of our time. The spirit of our time is really about extinction. For the first time, we are, quote, in control of our environment. But where are we leading ourselves? I don't need to remind us about 2 million people in Gaza being starved to death as we sit here in the sanctuary of art, of beauty, of innocence, of truth. This is continuing as we speak. The missiles are ranging across the Middle East. People like ourselves are being bombarded. By what? By a system which is out of control. And so we come to your work, Richard, in this very difficult environment, a work of the spirit, the work of the human spirit in this cosmic constellation. And here we have this beautiful, and I use the word beauty, this great, what is the word, comfort, that there still is and there always will be beauty in this world, despite what we are doing, sullying our own environment. But here we have an image, an archetypal image of a sleeping person. Sleeping but not dead. No. There is so much activity going on in the subconscious parallel universe of sleep. but there is a vision. Now these birds, the bird has always been a symbol of freedom, right? The bird of peace and freedom. And here we have a flight. Now flight in two senses. Flight in terms of imagination and flight in terms of escape. So that is our challenge now, to confront the reality and yet be able to step aside from it so we are not overwhelmed. And these are poems of pain, but also of transcendence. Now I just want to read one quick quotation, which I think will surprise you, and then I will hand over to Richard. This is funny enough. It's a letter, it's an extract from a letter written by Machiavelli, a letter to Vittorio. And this was penned in the year 1515. Anyone who might see our letters and see their variety would be greatly astonished, because at first it would seem that we were serious men, completely directed towards weighty matters, and that no thought could cascade through our heads that did not have within it probity and magnitude. But later, after turning the page, it would seem to the reader that we, still the very same selves, were petty, fickle, lascivious, and were directed towards chimerical matters. What is Machiavelli, who studied the art of power, how power is exercised in the world, for better or for worse. And he said, I'm not judging, except to say this is how those at the top, they direct their power. And today we see the consequences. Yet as an individual, Richard is grappling in his poems with this question of where we as individuals slot into this constellation of power-hungry establishments. But there's no direct political comment. These are poems that come from a very personal place. And childhood experience is also central. How the child and the adult works through those experiences. So Richard, I'm very happy to introduce you and your work, and I'm sure that we will now hear a lot more about where the work's coming from, and then have examples of the poems.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much. So this has been a long time in the making, and it's just wonderful to have all of you here today. I'm going to imagine that you're in my sitting room at home, so that I don't have any performance anxiety. Unlike these other poets that are here today who are going to do full-on performances, I'm really going to recite my poems. They're very short, so pay attention, otherwise you'll miss them. Okay. So I'm going to start with Oh Mr. Jim, which is at the beginning of my book. Oh Mr. Jim, show me those portfolio plays, show me those empty maze, show me those puzzled cigarette stains. I show you are a man, I show you are an aeroplane, I give you bumper sticker crazy. Oh Mr. Jim, show me a ship on the sea, show me a barbershop wide, show me a children's book. I show you those suitcase sandwiches, I show you those sailing fantasies, I give you a numbered bay in a passport book. Right. Okay, and the next one is called Pimpernel's Swing. A quiver in his finger knuckles along the spine fumble, a coffee spilt and wet froth hanging onto ginger lips, the old man at the newspaper stand. In Pimpernel's Swing, grey socks in striped timpani, and blazoned neatly, a schoolboy, a swing in the park. The buckle bounce in hidden apathy, trip-toed in shifty gait, the cool man drifting on 11th. The white button jacketed and the Wellington boot, a glance through hanging corpse, the butcherman on High Street. The air flips a paper on the road as he whispers into drain trough craziness to give me pop and snick, the sugar man on 9. On 2nd Avenue, caviar and maps, crystal tumblers and easy fucks. The last, a journey into Hickory and Dock.
Nice one.
Yeah. It's a beauty.
This one, Corey wanted me to rap to music, but we made a soundtrack. But I pulled it. Have you got it? Should we do it?
Yes. Come on.
Let's do it. I'm probably going to mess it up. Okay. So I'll just have to rap without
We'll do it afterwards.
Okay.
For one-on-one.
Hopping on a gypsy bandwagon and feeling sweet in the rusty heat, I savored the harlequin odor, the champagne corking. But still, the hope was never meant to cope, but I bubble sleep in bottled magic, and the rain is melting like a vibrant wavering deep inside of me. I do the dance with the devil to stare him in the eyes. I speak the jacaranda junkie to find the golden scale. This one I wrote actually when I was in the Navy. So it had to do with the ocean, and I was not a very happy conscript. And this will be borne out by that. Okay. Simple pimples on potato skins and collar-powered Cadillacs in white tailored suits walk into copper epiphany and emerge as sailors bent the anchor or trapped wildness. Tossed high the clamp, dipping low the slip dropping, the hand shook with darkness, a happiness membered, the thimble crumble, and the earth inject the sea endlessly over me. Okay, cool. All right, this one's called If God Save Us. The bird and the eagle took May to winter for a pastime tinkle and a pleasant tea. For the earthling tapestry on a revelation to journey, it was blood and dust settled in the sweaty twist, the blueprint bow tie. Sailors stagger and jigger in the moonlight street to walk the whiskey flat and sing the mast raising, while seagulls scatter their fantasies in feather and soar above the rapid and weather to whisk and play in the grey chill spray of the bay. Okay, this one's called Discarded Night Lamps. Discarded night lamps, postcards in the dark, forsaken starlight left alone in the ark. Facet of light drift across the fossil face, stir the ocean's deep, feeding fish and purple dream. Discarded night lamps, burn the beggar's watch, forsaken starlight, lone ship in the wake. If you blink, this one's going to be gone. It's called Golden Moment. Golden moment glow, clickety-click, train bound into the light. Find me coiled up, asleep, left out to dry, sun stretching, night fetching, hold out to die. Golden moment glow, whispering and slow, train bound into the light. So this is called What Poem. What poem strikes perfect, sounds alight inside, scarce as how we run into the arms of magic, and heaven's whispers find, dust in the rain hereafter. Love again, instinct, drip, drip, manna be. Birth your poem with tenderness. Spend yourself on its soul. All right. Shaking quite a bit. But it's cool. It's only taken about 40 years. All right. So this one's called Sun Shines Up Upon the Still. Turn away, you ask me why. Fish for friends to stay. Sun shines up upon the still, and still tapestry. Let me start that again. Sorry. Turn away, you ask me why. Fish for friends to stay. Sun shines up upon the still, tapestries are far away. Try against the fly, rivers bone dry, sidescape, finescape free, lover's tree, baby rock, rock in the lee of thee. Sun shines up upon the still, and still you play at a pace that we went to. Do you know the heart of it, the drop of death in me? Can you see me pass me by? Staying with those that pass me by. This is called In the Eyes of Those Who Pass Me By. I pass through this place like a river without end, a river of light, a fountain of delight, where the path to peace lies in the meadows awash with a million dandelions, who smile their smile upon the fields of my reflection, where the stars are angels, who shine their light in the eyes of those who pass me by. Little town that sits amidst the golden soul, patterns in the earth that remember everything, seas that feel and fall and tumble along the rocks, blessed chests with you, my friends, opened up a valley for me, to see across my seascapes and meander by, to ebb and flow and blow the rolling hills, the hills of Ponderland, dances and ravines. And still, the songs of rainforest keep us in and let us go to Boyd. All right, last one. This is called Bird Spirit. And of course, the book is called The Flight of the Bird Spirit. As my spirit bird enters in your valleys of butterflies and wheat grasses of trees, you wash away my pain, my love, my hurt, my sicknesses of stains. I know you so well, so hidden within my soul, so emptied in and emptied out, to fly again in eyes of alleyways, to melt away within you, my love whisperer, my God of love. Thank you.
Right, so I think we've heard that the style of this poetry is not predictable, right? I mean, Richard is drawing on very deep, if you like, subconscious images and vibrations. And I think it's also quite natural then. Now I'll pass the mic to you and then I'll just address the first question of what can be a Q&A. If you've got any comments or questions, then we'll take it from there. But having said that, it's noteworthy that this collection also has a very strong visual content in keeping with this gallery. And this illustration accompanies a poem, Why? Why is Mama not weeping? And there are many entry points to this combination. But in general, the if you like, mystical aspect of these illustrations connects with the very human experience. So maybe, Richard, you can just comment on that. Your work as a poet, but also as a visual artist.
Well, I think for me, poetry is writing, it's like painting with words, right? It's like painting with words, and I don't, all of these poems that are in this book found me. I can write poetry, which is conjured up, and I've written poems for specific events and for people and things like that. But this poetry in this book came to me, and I had to write it compulsively. I had to write it down. And I don't think when I write. I don't think, okay, that must be the next word, or that must be the next word. It literally comes through me. And then I'll apply a bit of architecture, a little bit of shaping. But I catch the poem.
Just to comment on the question of shaping, because Richard asked me to edit his work. And I looked through the poems and said, well, it's very much, it's like your style. This is something that's coming from a very deep place within you. I'm not sure what editing I can do, but I did. I made certain suggestions. And Richard took it away and he said, yeah, let me have a look at it. And after a few days he came back and said, look, everything I've written is as it is. It wasn't a question now of perfecting it. Some kind of natural chemistry or alchemistry and alchemy had occurred. So we can say that's a good description of the alchemical process.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think I'm very economical. I say things with less words. But yeah, it is an alchemy of sorts, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's like a painter standing in front of a canvas and has no idea what they're going to do. And then it's just an internal sort of compulsion that makes them make a mark, and then another mark, and then another mark. And my poetry is the same, in a sense that it just comes through me, and then I'm kind of shocked at what I see on the page, and then I start playing with it.
Just the last comment. There's a lot of wordplay, a lot of very clever, witty wordplay, which kind of takes me. It's just funny, when I first read your work, I said, well, here's a sort of English equivalent of Tsotsi Taha, in the sense of Akumureni Muila, writes in a similar style. It's dashes of words that explode. You laugh sometimes you feel the pain, but it's a very active process. I like that, the sort of pointillista. If you look at the artistic equivalent of dashes, word dashes that conjure up feelings and meanings. So, right, any last comments on this? Or otherwise we'll take some other observations.
Yes, Nicholas.
First of all, could we clap for the shy? I don't want to rush. Man, we got it so quickly. My name is Nicholas. I'm from Homegrown Radio. Congratulations, Richard. I've struck up a personal relationship with you over the last 6 months. I haven't gotten you out of the gallery yet to play tennis or anything, but I know that this is a big milestone for you. If you could explain the journey from when this had to be to how you're feeling right now, what sort of terms and energies and emotions have you felt along the way?
Sure, okay. So poetry for me started out as a kind of a therapeutic process when I was 13 years old. I wasn't able to describe how I was feeling, so I started to write it down. And that began a love affair with words and with poetry. And it almost became a lifelong mission of mine to continue with it and never stop writing. And when I feel a poem coming, I will sit down and I will write it. So it's been a long time coming, and I think that's why I'm so nervous here today, because it's literally taken 40 years to get to this place. And I just want to shout out to my darling wife who has made this possible. Not only did Kari give me this incredible painting, it's at 2013.
Yeah.
2013. You see how long we've been working on this project. So Kari created the cover for the book and has helped me to get to the place where the book is published, and of course provided me this amazing venue to do my thing, and the other poets that are here today. So thank you, Lynn.
Okay, sorry, I got. So my question is, what do you feel in your body when you're in the flow while creating your poems?
So it's hard to explain. It's like a rush. It's like in a channel, and it's just flowing through me, and I'm almost shaking because I'm writing it down as quickly as I can, and then it's done, and then I'm exhausted almost, and then I look at it, and then I spend time with it, and then I craft it and I fix it and I change it slightly here or there. But the best poems are the poems that have had the least amount of editing.
Okay,
Cool. Anybody else? Thanks.
What inspired the theme of birds? Were you in bird parks a lot, or did you fly a lot? Or in your next lifetime, were you a bird? What inspired that?
It's quite funny, actually. And I've never told anybody this. I don't even think I've told you, Carl. And so, when I was little on the farm, remember Nani had that little, what kind of bird was that, Dad? That would come on her windowsill. That little with the tail that goes. Was it a weaver? Okay. Or a willy wagtail. A willy wagtail. It was a willy wagtail. Right, it was a willy wagtail. Lots of attitude. And then I was going through a phase where I was focusing on my poetry. And a willy wagtail visited me in the cottage I was staying at in Carver Rock at the time. And it was also walking along the windowsill with that little willy wagtail going along with it. And that's when it came to me, Flight of the Bird Spirit.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I just want to understand, you say that the poems come to you, right, and then you write from emotions. I want to understand, like, most of them, are they coming from good, like when you write them when you're in that space? Is it like you're experiencing like great emotions, like whereby there's intense happiness, or is it like most of them are whereby maybe there's just sadness and you're just trying to tell it out? So the majority of them, which emotions are you in when you write them? Thank you.
So for me, normally sadness, normally when I'm experiencing pain, that's when I'll write more often. I do write poems when I'm happy as well, but I think normally it comes from a darker place.
My question is mainly about, like, how you describe, how your poetry was described as, like, something sort of like abstract art, right? So with that, I just wanted to know how do you get to a point where, like, you are content enough with your writing to actually send it out? because with something like abstract art, right, be it through poetry or like just visual art, there's so many things that like, are components to making that art, and it's very difficult to get to a place of like containment that, because like there's emotions involved, but there's also like different factors such as whether you want it to look beautiful or what story you're trying to tell. So how do you get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm content enough to send this out, and this is how I want people to receive it? And is that even a factor, like how people receive it, or is it simply about you telling whatever you want to tell and allowing people to receive it anyhow?
Jeez, Rich, did you catch the 7 questions?
Start with number 8. Only when I conjure a poem, like for an artist or a sculptor, and they want me to write a poem, will I write it for somebody else. Otherwise, I'm writing it for myself. The fact that we're here today and I'm now sharing them with you and with the world, that's awesome. But they've been very private up until now. The poems are 100% finished. Unlike an abstract artwork which might go off the page or off the side of the canvas, the architecture of the poetry is very important to me. The way it looks on the page is very important to me. And I will always use less words, and I learned that very early on in writing poetry, is to be economical and no fluff. So I don't know if that answers the question.
When are you content to release?
When am I content to release it?
What is that measurement? What's that point where you're content to be able to put stuff out?
When there are no little bits and pieces hanging around it, it's like 100% craft completed. You cannot add a letter, and you can't subtract a letter, as Alan found out with the editing. Okay, perhaps one more. Yeah.
Good morning. I just want a suggestion. School learners, they're very impressionable, and poetry is used actually to help them find themselves, to put them on the right path, and perhaps improve their moral compass. I have a suggestion. Perhaps if you could contact the education department and submit some of your poems, that could be included in our curriculum. It would be wonderful. Thank you.
To respond to the education department, we have tried as Botsotso to engage with the education department about revamping the syllabus in terms of literature, particularly South African literature. But my fellow poets will agree it's not an easy task. But we do live in hope, right? We live in hope. What's up?
Yes.
We have no choice. But Richard, let's move on now to the poets. We've invited 3 poets, and we'll start with Mandi, Poefficient, Magnificent, Bunda. Mandi will present 2 of her own poems. Then we'll be followed by Kaz Ruud, and finally by Kabelo Mofokeng, alias The Pain of Hunger. And it says, hungry on arrival. There we go. So, Mandi, you could come up, please.
Hello, everybody. Hi. I promise you, Richard, we perform all the time, but we get nervous every single day. So you are not alone. You are not alone. My name is Mandi Vundla. I am a poet everywhere I go. We must preserve our women beyond PR against violence, Taglines keep us alive for a month. When campaigns start to run out of breath, the billboards come down, pink ribbons fall to their knees, safety pins grow teeth. I pray to God for ad space to keep our children safe, but it will be Heritage Month by then. The hashtag would have changed. I catch the news of your death, the way wood catches a fire with your body before it is burned. You are somebody's daughter, returning to ash before returning home. I keep meeting women for the very first time as passengers of death, as still images taken before their last breath, as dying proof for the living, that the shallow hearts of men can love you into a grave, that the head of your home can lay you down as a headstone, loving you in memory. When a man says he wants me, I don't know if he wants me dead. Men choreograph their rage so beautifully on our bodies. The post office is an opened envelope sealed with blood. You do not know if the parcel you are returning is your daughter to her grave, if the funeral procession will replace her graduation day, and to what degree. Dismembering her body is also cutting short her dreams. Being black and woman at the same time is a magnet for danger everywhere we go. Dreaming while black is a revolution delayed. Dreaming while black woman is a revolution denied. A dream with soiled hands and sinking feet. A body broken like a promised safe couldn't keep. We are chasing our dreams while being chased on the streets. We are reaching for the stars while someone keeps reaching for our bodies at home, at work, at school, at play. Dreaming while black is a revolution delayed. Dreaming while black woman is a disappearing act. Okay, the last one. So we're tasked to arrive way before you guys, so we could.
We're going to do that afterwards.
Oh, I didn't get the memo. I'm sorry.
Hang on to that.
Okay. All right, that's me. My people. Thank you so much. Dear Miriam, I am holding the keys to your songs in my hands. I know you opened the world with a mouth full of teeth clinging to the border. You held the click of our bones in the twist of your tongue. You electrifying song, burning through skin and bone when you sing. Salt water seeps through your throat, sterilizes our bones, soaks all our stones, and all our blood returns with a pulse to its people. You made music like you were making a war cry for its mother tongue, though home was a distant wounded storm. You sang for the hurricane gushing through our bones. You gave noise, a quiet voice for grieving, a gentle blues for the descendants of a noose, for jumping jacks, for kings and queens of solitaire. I hope you rest in the music you gave our country. Is still a bleeding tune. We do not sing the way we sang along to you, Mazi. You may be gone in the song of bone and the music of drying flesh. Your organs may have stopped playing. Your body is mute, but the music hasn't stopped breathing for you, Miriam.
Yeah, no, Monday is a very special bird spirit. Cass, is it? So.
Oh no, don't clap for me.
Very special.
Thank you for having me, Alan. Congratulations, Richard, on the collection. And the amazing poems. I really enjoyed it. Really beautiful. And you should be nervous because you were holding like heavy poems there, you know? And I think if you go home and you sit back and you read them again, you'll realize why this man was, you know, feeling because those poems really, it's amazing when the art does more than what it does in your face. And it allows you to mull over it a little, and the subtext comes and trips you up and says, hey, I'm saying something else as well. So I enjoyed that. Thank you. Congratulations. We are a story of fallen leaves and scattered bones, a morose remainder of what we once were. Kings kneeling before their own shadows, we are trees and bones in a bag of skin. The universe blew life into us. We are a forgotten poem, carved into the wind by our ancestors, the fulfillment of a prophecy still to be spoken. The sun plants harsh kisses on our brows. We love carelessly in the shade of dying trees, dancing barefoot on sinking graves, singing praise to the demons that feed on us. We are all of it. We are none of it. We are a people of many faces. We become what the moment asks us to be. Like water, we assume the shape of any circumstance. Life forces us into. Thank you. We all need to be gentle. The world is a mess. And it just starts with us being gentle with the person that's right next to you. And if they continue the chain, then hopefully by some kumbaya moment, we might fix what we're going through. But all it needs is for you to just be gentle with those next to you. Wow. Whisper my fragile self into your palm. Hold on to my changing faces. Peel back the layers, meet the mess beneath. Yes, I'm a beautiful mess of smiles and rotting emotions. Break open faded dreams. Rebuild my discarded today. Save me from the cobwebs. Dance with the rainbows under my skin. Water me. Kiss me first. Find me. And I will do the same for you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Right, so we have one more poet, Kabelo Mofoke, and then we'll break into the next section where each poet will take us to a painting, the work that has inspired them into the creation of a poem. And those have just been created today, so I'm sure we'll have some interesting work. And I will add one. I found a poem that I wrote many years ago, but when I saw a triptych in this gallery, I knew I found, a visual equivalent. So let's round off with Kabelo for this section of the program. Kabelo and Bototo go back a long, long way. So we know the ins and outs of our lives. Kabelo.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Just to contribute a little bit towards that conversation regarding material image. I work a lot more with photography. So I'm always thinking around, in my own work, on my line of work, I'm always sort of working towards capturing social histories. So that would be like using photography to capture a community's history, or the history of Pimville, or the history of Soweto, But also, I think there's a point where we become limited as photographers, and maybe that's where poetry comes in. So I'm always investigating, like who said what, who wrote what about certain spaces. So this is also connected to what I'm about to read now, which is a piece that was written by a local poet. His name is Imwabele Maliwan. He lives in my community. So this is a conversation between myself and Imwabele Maliwan, whose piece, I think it really captures a little bit more than what I could sort of extract from the archives visually. So where the photo could not capture, I think he's able to sort of reference some things that are important for us to kind of enjoy this sort of historical archive. So this piece would exist in that space, in those references. The piece is titled Kumbula My Son. And Kumbula My Son, Kumbula is to remember my son where you come from, right? And it kind of captures like forced removals. This is before I'm born. This is a poet from the 70s. So as I'm sort of thinking around my community, people who live there, and some of these things are not captured visually. And we take it for granted. We have these phones today where we can sort of capture these things. But sometimes photography is quite an expensive medium as well, because you need a camera and all these mechanical tools to kind of capture these sort of disappearing moments. So I'm always thinking about that in my own work. So this piece kind of works maybe as a methodology to kind of investigate history. So the title of the piece is Kumbula My Child, and it's a conversation with what I wrote as well. Kumbula My Child. Department was its name, Abantu its target, Estande was the place. Kumbula My Child, that's where you were born. Ikhaya lakho eSkolo, that side of the Pimble Cross. Department came with caterpillars and said he was the boss. Kumbula My Child, that's where you were born. Masimo ngamadala, it was Hamamugodo, Rihipile Kimikodo, yes, Njali Bitwa Koga Sihambe, Kumbula My Child, that's where you were born. Ekayala Kusuga Mapepa, Cape Town, Shawelo, Midway, Lens, Platform 1, Platform 2, Ngenanaye, Pumanaye, Kumbula My Child, that's where you were born. Pashonile Bayakide, Oduya nolibona, Kanye noSkoda, basaphila bayidiliza, Umlungu, Nobas, Kumbula My Child, that's where you were born. Pimtown Scomblers, my response. Red moon dressed to kill inside Scomblers. I perish in your special light. In a red districts where the heart is sewn inside a glass coffin of night, Mahulunga Madala. Smere, cradle to my palm, tends me inside, out. Prabani thumps a storm and pierces a crisp lament that of Pinky's jazz. Hot sticks burning out, oh my love. Tababusiu inside Harare. Prafunky soars from the third base where gods would shit on the rest. A dope is guitarist. A fin of fucking lefty loops a Soweto blues to purge Babalas inside a wap with a tin of silver night. Pimtown, home ground, all pubs, mwaps. I wish you were here to hear me sparring Lebabino Bachana in your backyard. See you on the flip side of our ancestral lands. Hear me through the music of your heartbeat. They say your sickly bones are frayed, and Yahuwah tears at your wings, my angel. Brown eyes no longer 10 tavern tables, I want to be mute, soft as early light in your blue skies, before chasing the dawn train, burning one side of Kliptown, Mansfield, before the crackle of our bunny trucks delivers our daily bread. Home ain't where the heart is. Fuck that. Home is where Abu Maki radiates 7 colors inside ghetto kitchens, whilst Tuso Mutabun cast the fear of God traveling through airwaves. Whilst the eye of Jehovah remains witness as watchtowers, Catholics, Methodists, Universal, Grace, Seventh-day Adventists unveil their true colors inside Kasi Yamakasi. Tipsy lips of red moonlight inside a scompless night. I succumb to your fireplace.
That's good, lad.
Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him.
Yeah, we're on our feet now, guys. We're on our feet. And I mean that literally. Because we'll now go, each of the poets and myself, we've selected a painting, something that sparked us. So we'll follow that poet, and then we'll come back for an open mic for those who wish to share with us whatever their work is. So, Mani, should we start with you? Cool. Now you lead the way to your chosen path.
This is my chosen path.
Please follow.
So we meet again. So this was inspired by Fumani Madonege's. I don't know if I'm going to butcher it. I think you are Fumani. Oh, you? Hi. Okay. Sometimes the storm. The crazy thing about this piece is this is the painting that inspired the piece, and out of nowhere, that piece where I was sitting, which is the bird piece, just came out of nowhere. You just put it there whilst I was writing this poem. So it all sounds connected or felt connected, right? Sometimes the storm. Sometimes my mother is the storm, turning the earth inside the grave with bone-pickled feet, kicking dust into my eyes. I have to go blind to be still. My eyes burn through a candle from a wound I cannot see. The morning comes in waves and I brew a cup of tea. The dust settles on a lonely window frame. The storm sinks into my chest. The sky opens and my eyes never ever close.
Thank you. Any questions or comments you want to address to Mani?
Sorry. Could I just ask the artist to sing together? Sorry.
Absolutely.
Any comments?
How is it that
Here is the artist himself. Maybe you can say a few words about how the poem impacted on you.
Hi everyone. Hey, I was trying by all means to hide at the back. Thanks my great sister for sharing the idea and how you relate with the work and how you wrote the poem. It means a lot to me, and today it was that day for me to sit back and see and listen and learn from how other people are engaging with the works. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a question?
Okay, thanks.
So my question was centered around.
Sorry, take the
Please forgive me, I'm working on social media, but it was that this artwork and this artist really does focus on the fact on the grass mat, and this is a material that's very domestic, and as a South African, as a Black individual, we know it, we see it, we feel it, and how you then relate that to home, relate that to mothers in particular. Can you please walk us through that? It was storm and mom, storm and home. Can you please give us a little bit more on that? And I thought it was beautiful how it, unknowingly to you, it weaves into stories that the artist offers in his works as well.
So I think what I had to be careful of was not to overthink and look at the piece and feel the piece, actually, because I'm a poet, right? So I just had to feel the piece and allow for it to stir whatever it stirs. And the thing that it really did stir was my mother's grave. So then I started the poem with her being the storm and having that grave finally settle within me without my eyes ever closing.
Any final comment? We'll move on. Thank you. Yes, very interesting coming together. I think we all agree. Thanks, Nadi. Gaz, you can lead us to your further work.
Thank you, Alan. So my work is Rack of the Year. It's actually it's the entire sensation that this space evoked by Sue Martin, and then what she wrote over there about layering and the idea of landscapes untouched kind of inspired me to think about it this way. Vandaar van de grond en bloed en volstrekt door de elke manier. Van die berg, die volgens zijn eerlijk, maar die galagaai, spoor van die neer. Vandaar van domedaars regen. Van bloed en zout en die geskree. Maar die kopervel van die boesman en die silverveer van die voels nader roep van hier, van daar, 'n bietjie van my, 'n bietjie van jou, 'n bietjie van hulle, 'n bietjie van ons. Rot bloed, rot bloed. Wie se plaas is die?
Wie is de plaats? Wie is baas op die plaats?
Wie is baas op die plaas? Wie se storie is hier begrawe? Wie se tong is die wat so beklei in my mond? 'n bietjie van die, 'n bietjie van daai, baie van jou kak, niks van myself nie.
die sout, die berg, die storie van Kwamata met 'n diamant op sy voorkop, is die gesteelde beeste van die Duitsers. Dit is jou nachtmerrie, jou wit stilte. Dit is die swart stilte, wat ons eie mense uitverkoop het. Dit is van hier, dit is van daar, dit is van gister, dit is van môre, dit is van nou, dit is 'n bietjie van alles. Maar dit is meestal oor. Baie dankie.
Ja, waar is die bloed op die grond? Ja. Right, I'm sure many thoughts going through our heads after this. Bloed op die grond. Any word? So, digested. Right, let's move on then to Cabello. And, the power is with us today. Amanda!
What else could you say?
I'll read something. It's adapted from a tune by one of my favorite musicians, late Moses Mbele. The title of the track is Down Rocky Street. It's also a piece that was sort of composed on the spot. And thinking about Jehovah and what it was then, in the 90s, that's when I came into the space because I was a little bit younger. And there was this wonderful DJ Chantel. So, yeah, I'm just sort of having a conversation with that sort of disappeared moment. Down Rocky Street. Between a still gladness and a hungry winter wind, my fingertips burn to caress your mood. You, Chantel, you are no moon. You are the tower, the flame, the pulse of Azania, a country without a name. We search, lost in the tongues of the streets, lost in the urban noise. You mount the flags silently, but loud as a freedom's cry. Tandoors, unlike chillers and pollers, we build it from the rubble of broken, the crackle where Kwaito allows shoulders of jazz, where the muzzle of tongues and lips lash. Kiss under the light, shattered glass, desire drips down from the ceiling. Chantel, you spin, break beats, 6/6 crippled by beats. We follow, lost in your sound, your body, in mid-conversation. Neither man, no women, a shadow, a flame, funk, crash, plus. I whisper your name. The bassline drops at the right time. Keys crawling down the rocky street. My fingertips burn to touch the edge of your sound. Yet you slip and slide and swim into vision like a fish where the world is yours. You stare at the heart of many men, God, and remind us that freedom is not free. Don't let the past still pull at our feet. Azania, will you light the way or set all the light? Will Babylon fall, a Sodom without a redemption? Brick by brick we build and build, but your tower come down Rocky Street. Newer blacks chasing shadows, Mozart done said it. Wearing the mask of a master, their hands reaching out to the gold, the suits, the ties, hunted by the Bantu ghost. Ramstan said it. Like Walla warned, the black status seekers slipped deeper into the night, lost in the smoke of their own dreams. We dance in the ruins. The flames don't touch us, as if the music will keep us safe. You, Chantel, you are not one of them. You are not on your own. You are your own, fluid like the wind, slipping between the shimmer and the pool of darkness, between the cracks of history, contradictions, broken, full of danger. What comes next? The dangerous love cannot deny. The light of Tando's flickering like dying stars, and I move, broken by the footsteps calling towards you through the streets that don't sleep, through the dreams that don't end. We dance, know we cannot outrun the fire, knowing this love will consume us heartily as you, Chantel, spend the night into day, that path into the present until we don't know where we begin and the city ends. You are the tower, you are the flame, and we burn with you. As I, Chantel, down Rocky Street.
Okay, right. If you can follow me, please, for the last section of this section. This triptych, I think, speaks for itself. I was intrigued by the mix of deep red and then a kind of glow, a pinkish glow, a yellowish glow, some life or some delineation coming out of the abstract. And clearly, the image of the woman here is not cut and dry. I think for women, there's a fundamental contradiction that you have to live with. You create life, and yet the life you create is also part of this mechanism of killing. And men historically have done the killing. And yet you bring these men into the world, and you tie to them, and you know that their function is going to be violence. Eve was there, alone. She had no need for another. She was full-breasted. And she lay in the garden, seeding herself. And her milk made her happy, eve after eve after eve. But when the moon was full and red, a warring rod and whirling light disturbed her womb, till a hard-muscled child pulsed out. So Eve made Adam, made herself, and unmade herself, made a man to stand beside and against her. It is never quiet in the garden. There is always vibration. And still Eve lies alone, bringing forth Adam after Adam after Adam. Yeah, that's really all right. Right, we'll move to the last part of the program. So you can go back to our seats, please. And then we'll have an open mic session. Any comments? It's open. Open vibration.
Okay guys, so now we're going to have the open mic. Is there anybody here who would like to take the mic first? You are most welcome. What's your name?
My name is Naledi King.
Naledi King. So welcome. I'm going to give you the mic, and the stage is yours.
Thank you.
Do you want to stand? Do you want to sit?
I'll just float.
You'll float. Float.
I'm one of those who flows.
Okay, float.
Hello, everybody. How are you? My name is Naledi King, and I'm excited to be here because I've come to share my poem and also to share what is going on here. I'm a bit nervous, but anyway. So my book is called Complete Cycle, and I created it to assist people that are going through really dark emotions. Because a lot of people cannot afford to go for coaching or healing. I've decided to compile my experiences and my poems into a work of art that can assist people. So it's called Complete Cycle, 10 silent songs and mandalas that I drew. So each poem comes with the probing prompt questions to help you dig deeper and mandalas. So this is what it looks like, pretty much. So the poem anchors the concept, and then you are able to process and integrate. So I'm going to do one of my poems called Queens and Knights, seeing that we're speaking about mother and the whole situation in terms of how masculines and feminines work together. So this one is called Queens and Knights. Queens and Knights, something about this picture just ain't right. Queens and Knights, this imbalance creates unnecessary fights. Queen, you need a king, not a knight. But there's a wise way to dealing with the knight. He's often immature, can't handle queen life because it shines too bright as it journeys through his soul's night. Maybe one day he'll be a king, not a knight. Step up and maybe, just maybe, do things right. But for now, he's blinded by queen light, tries to dim it with toxic, useless fights. A distraction keeping her from her birthright. But she's smarter, wiser, stronger than that. She won't let him, he better come correct, with confidence and spine, not just stay correct. She's open to ideas as long as there's major respect. I'm queen, they better come clean with their rotten intentions, Nami. Let me tell you more about these knights. They'll try to gallop on their high horses over your clearly set boundaries and choices. And then turn around, act surprised when you start dishing out those consequences, acting like victims, changing faces. I just observe as they do these silly dances, and while they lie and dance, I smile, keep building, making big moves and advances. Because I'm queen, don't need no permission. Because I'm queen, don't need no reason. It's just simply my season. I don't need no permission. Though they try to make me feel small and imprisoned, queen won't stop or let them Queen won't stop or give them reason, pays them no mind, because it's my season. I need to breathe. Because I'm queen, don't need no permission. It's just simply my season. Because I'm queen, I don't need no permission. Though they sometimes try to make me feel small and imprisoned, queen won't stop or give them reason, pays them no mind, because it's my season. They better come correct, with confidence inspired, not just stay correct. I'm open to ideas as long as there's major respect. So queen, you need a king, not a knight. You need a queen, not king, not a knight. You need a king, not a knight. Did you hear that? I want to know, where are my kings at? Where are they at? Can somebody please tell me that? Queen, you need a noble king, not a knight. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Okay. Well, Got a question. Welcome to South Africa. You ready to rock and roll, Dan?
I'm making it over here.
My name is Kuda Gurdila, and I'm the keeper of stories untold, a bearer of life, a giver of word. I'm the whisper in the morning air, a legacy, written in love's holy name. And I'm a storyteller. In South Africa, every 4 hours a woman is killed. Consider that a day is 24 hours. Imagine how many people are killed in a year. So I wrote this poem, and as I recite it, keep those stats in mind. And the battlefield of gender, where violence and hatred have long since dawned. The cries of the wounded, the scars that remain, speak of a battle filled with sorrow and pain. In the realm of shadows, a fallen angel whips her wings. Once radiant, now shattered in hips, captured by the devil in chains. Bound. I wonder if pain has a temple in her tainted soul. Let me go. Let me breathe. Let me see. Let me think. Let me do. God, why have you abandoned me? She lays naked in the temple, stripped of her soul, the words spoken. While she lays there, with her bones broken. All women are harlots. A bad are going under. They're asking for it. All they want is sex, and all they shall get is rape. Mom was screaming, I was shouting, I was tired of fighting. It was really painful, Mom. They were touching my body, Mom. Who would not be around me? It's no time. After satisfying their lust, they killed me, Mom. I was only
by Justice Chains.
I look backwards towards the beginning. The screaming, the shouting, a hand raised, a punch thrown, and you know, that's how you love a woman, boy. I was horrified by violence. The soul in the little boy disappeared from dancing with the devil to being the devil, and anything in my way, boom! Because I too am a victim of this broken system. The forgotten boy child. I guess isono siyababa. Swelling daddy. Zono zethu silaweni kumantwana. Zono zabasali singaweni ngithi. Solini siyona nesiqale Exodus 12 Kubaba verse 1 Ndili Jehova Mwari wako wakakubisa munyika yeIjipita muimba youranda ndinowana nekuda kwezvivi zvamadzibaba avo kusvikira kurudzi rwechitatu rwerwechina rwavanondivenga. It has happened before, and it shall happen again. Heal before you had kids, so your kids don't have to heal from having you as a parent. Broken people break people. They were wrong for doing it wrong. But at this age, it's a choice what you do with what was done to you. Thank you.
Well, of course, we have been visited by spirits. Yeah. Yes. Come forward.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nondumi Somsezane, and it's an honor to stand in front of you today. I'm burdened by the human condition. We often dream about the things that we want to be, like, for example, being free. And so when I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this event, I thought, let me come here because I've often dreamed about sharing my work, but I would look at it from a distance as if it's something that I couldn't do or be. And so I said, let me just take the leap of faith and come, not knowing that I'll be standing in here speaking. So thank you for that, Richard. Your work is giving back already. Thank you so much, to me at least. And when I walked in and I saw this art piece, it spoke to me because this is exactly how I feel. You know, like I hide myself from the world, but I dream about flying like the gracious white dove. And so in this moment, I'm doing something that I've dreamed about for a very long time. And so I'm not dreaming anymore, I'm alive. Thank you. So this is titled 1848. The time is 1848, and the sun is bleeding into the tallest telecommunications tower in Africa. The hues beaming through her wound have found a home in my kitchenette. I can smell the shades of oranges and lemons laced with the sweet fading rose. 1848. The exact moment I'm staring into an inevitable fate. I'm seeing all of this through my window, which does not breathe, yet still gives me the gift of seeing the great city of gold and the shadows of her promises. And all I can hear is, he was right. I am bold. I'm scooping spoonfuls of courage from this dinner plate, looking at the distant, stained old tower, swallowing. The entire world is going to hear the stories I've left untold. They will unfold truths that were strategically hidden in the muffles of my sobs, which shot stillness down the spine of innumerable nights. Oh, great expose of hell-bound fights and gullible hopes of unbreakable love. Hiccup-injected laughs will now tickle the dream that one day I'll be free to fly like the gracious white dove. In this moment, I can't help but wonder that this is the year I turned 28. The age my dead mother gave life for the first time, introducing personified heartbreak into this little world of mine. Could it be coincidental that it is in this moment that the legacy of a memory consumes me? And I'm growing intimate with the knowledge that I am the one who's going to give birth to my liberty. 1848, you've nudged away belief. My pen glides once more, and this cocoon of uncertainty I've been sitting in for weeks has morphed into relief. This liberty I've presented to myself, it glistens like the crystals that are scattered on the skin of the ocean, and I am so, so proud of myself.
Yeah, we have to do things of which we are proud, right? That's up to others also to give us a bit of feedback. Right, and we have another poem.
Nice. I was sitting and contemplating to do it or not. But I knew that the two people in this room are going to kill me if I don't do it. I'm joking, that's just to break the ice. My name is Maureen. Inside joke, right? My name is Maureen Nganakati Yamutsonga. That simply means Tsonga princess. And there's a reason why those princes are not story for another day. I'm a multilingual poet, performer, facilitator, and all these shenanigans that don't matter at this moment. I'm going to share a piece, hopefully I remember all of it. It's titled To Be Continued, and it goes like this. Crowns are not just made of rhinestones. They're made of hardships, tears, and breakable moments that went into the hard core of shaping the crowns. Ke ra hore ho dukile madi a khapa madi mola sebesho sa pelo se la go bona ke ra hore le ba go tlhobetlela mollo ba ile ba tshela tse pedi tse tharo to just make sure this crown was formed. I told you crowns were made of just rhinestones, but they're made of all the hardships. I don't even know what that means, but all I know is this crown was not just made of rhinestones. How do I know that my throat is trustworthy for me to swallow the peel of pain? See, the crowns are not made of just rhinestones, but they're made of all the hardships that every human being carves into it. Even though I cry in the midst of days, I close my eyes to just sip in a little bit of prayer, even though I don't think I have it enough in me, like my mother used to wake up in the midst of the night, pray against all the demons that were battling in my head. All I know is she prayed. And I gently close my eyes as I see the face of God gently appearing before my face. He looks so smooth, so blemishless, and so blameless. reminds me of the crown that's waiting for me, that's waiting for my arrival. I mean, in my father's house, there's so many rooms. Guess what? I may be in room number 305. Well, I don't want to think about it at the moment because I might die and go forever and not come back. What about that crown of mine that is not just made of rhinestones? See, all I know is I slipped in drips and drabbles of life. And I remembered I needed to open my eyes just to end the prayer because guess what? It was already in the morning. I needed to wake up to do some more errands. But as I opened my eyes in remembrance of a crown that was not just made of rhinestones. The gold was melted, silver was put together. I mean, diamonds were collected to create my crown. I still believe that in my father's house there's so many rooms. And guess what? The ticket has been paid. See, I'm that kind of human being that walks into a space knowing that all flights are paid. I mean, my room is reserved. Guess what? Don't you want to come with me? There's surely a bed next to me for you to sleep next to my bed. Because you know why? I'm about to share a crown that's not just made of rhinestones. I'm sharing a crown that is an insurance for a lifetime, knowing that there's a space reserved for me. Yes, hardships kill me. Yes, pain always attacks me. But tears are always part of life. They build me, they create me to become who I am. I repeat, crowns are not just made of rhinestones. Because my Father slowly knit them and put them together as he thought of me days and years back before I was even formed. I can just imagine the clot of blood forming in my mother's womb just so that they can obtain a crown that one day to wake up next to it is so glorious and it's magical. I slipped through a dark room knowing that tomorrow is a different day. Wake me up, I stopped praying. I mean, where am I going with all that I'm saying? But all I can say is that I remember one thing. She grew up to pray at night, and I'm growing up to pray at night. Today I choose to pray during the day because I know that crowns are not just made of rhinestone. My crown, let me leave the space. Because today I swallow a stone knowing that my throat is big enough. That is my hometown, the smell of Ubuntu, the smell of who I am, to wear a crown that is not just made of rhinestones. To be continued.
Eve after eve after eve. Yes, anyone to follow. Yes, my brother.
Thanks a lot. Giving a shout out to everybody here who's got the mic. I do this thing. Poetry is one of my delights. I like to flow. I've got nothing written, you know. I'm here in the house just letting me go. Shout out to you guys with all the lyrics and all the rhythms. I'm in love, but now I'm not smitten. I love your voice, it's big and it's bold. And thanks for the book, The Stories Untold. I don't know about cursing up here though, because I'm a Christian. But it's all right, because life is unique. That's how we shine and glisten. We're here to bring the light, we're here to be different. We're here to flow. Life is intermittent. Life is always changing. Remember, nothing's written. It's a free flow, top of the dome. You know? So out here in Artley, what a great space. Oh my goodness, Richard and Karen. Woo! Inside this space is like a community center. I do events, but there's no need for me to rent here. You're my brother and my sister, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for this gathering and everything you've thrown into it. This is love from the inside out. Putting out my hand and giving you a shout. Keep doing this thing, keep blending the culture. Love is dangerous, it's like a vulture. When it spreads and it grows and it flows and it blows, I want to be there, because I know how it goes. Building these lyrics, no, I'm not done yet. Freestyle is what I do, and I'm not a threat. I got no poetry book, no nothing like that. All I know is that God has blessed me, and that's why I take off my hat. So these guys here, for providing the environment, and for everyone else who is existing inside of it. I take my time, confidence is no thing. Poets who are nervous, come and see me, I'll help you sit. You've got to breathe through this thing, take your time and own the space. Leadership is about control and looking in your face. I know what you want to say. Control the space, sit down, configure yourself, and then race. My name is Nicholas, I'm from Homegrown Radio. Each and every poet in here, I'd like to get to know yo. We can create content and share your stories with the rest of the world. I'm trying to get out of this line. And I'm looking for that word. So it's gonna come, and it's gonna come quick. There's nothing written, and my name is Nick.
Who is sharp to the quick. Right, everyone. Thank you.
Lots of Amarula if you want.
For the bird spirit to float, the Amarula will assist to raise the wings. So thanks again to Karen and to Richard and to all of you for your energy and your consideration. I'm sure we will have returns to this destination. Contact and we'll go on the attack. Thanks everyone.
After this, that's the day set.